Thanks.
Is there a game plan mapped out already for how many seasons you plan on taking the series?
Yeah, I mean, I've said numbers in the past. I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm expecting a good long run, or hoping for a good long run, I should say. I think that we have the comic; it's all done, which is great, and we've gone through and like earmarked, like, okay, here's where all of our finales would be ideally, and here's how many seasons we would run. Um, you know, uh, hopefully we'll run around the same range as like a Star Trek: The Next Generation or a Deep Space Nine. We'll see how many seasons we get.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. But I mean, we have a solid plan in place, which I think is good.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I can tell by the way things are placed out. So there's a very meta joke on how long animation takes in one of the upcoming episodes. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing we'll still have a much shorter wait for season three than we did for season two.
Yeah, a much shorter wait. I feel like sometimes the internet hears much shorter wait and they're like, they're going to be back in 3 to 6 months. And it's like, well, no, it's going to be a reasonable wait between seasons, and hopefully we'll be able to announce when we're coming back at some point in the future. But yeah, it's going to be a much shorter wait than was between season one and season two for sure.
Great news. I know you talked about the live action movie and how it's rolling along. It's still going.
Slowly.
Slowly. But since it's in a different medium, can you tease any new elements and narratively you can bring with Invincible on the big screen?
No.
Okay,
Uh,
fair
no,
enough.
I mean, it's going to be live action. It's going to be different. I think, at this point, with the show being what it is, um, what we're trying to do is make sure that the live action movie is as unique as possible when it comes to, telling kind of the same story that we're telling with the
Right.
animated series. So, we're trying to find new angles into the story and new and exciting ways to tell the story because I think that, that sense of the unexpected is kind of one of the things that you want to get out of an Invincible story. So we're trying to
Right.
figure out how to maintain that. But yeah, as far as new innovations or weird live action elements, you'll just have to wait and see.
Fair enough. I've heard you talk about bringing the story to animation has allowed you to only improve from what was on the comic page onto now in this series. The biggest standouts for me are Amber and Debbie. They both add so much weight of consequence, especially in this latest
Yeah.
season. Is that the biggest theme you're trying to hammer home with this series? Is that every action has a consequence for it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we want to enhance the characters as much as we can, and we want to make sure that the drama is pushed as far as we can. I think that, I don't want to gloss over the fact that the two characters you're keying in on are two big female characters, and
Mhm.
maybe that means that in the comics the female characters were a little bit lacking. So there's some correcting that needs to be done on that front, which I'm wholeheartedly on board for. So yeah, I mean, there's certainly things from a 20-year-old comic book that you're going to want to modernize and improve upon. But yeah, those characters are Amber and Debbie are our human characters as well, and
Right.
it's very important to show what the human perspective is and what it would be like living in a world where superhero action, superhero devastation is so prevalent.
Yeah, and I love the way you handle that and how almost realistic in a non-realistic world, obviously, but the trauma and the consequences for everything that happens is very realistic, and I love that you hammer home on that so hard. There's such a weight that's felt, especially in this last season, of what's happened and everything before it. Um,
Yeah, I
these
mean, I don't
episodes,
want to spoil.
sorry.
I don't know when this interview is going live or anything, but for Amber, there's a scene in episode 7 where Zazzy's performance is just like flooring, and the emotion that comes from it and the fear that comes from it is so palpable that it's just really remarkable. And I think that is one of the best examples of the dangers that lie, for normal people trying to exist in this world. And it
Right.
really kind of pulls into focus just, you know, what the threat level actually is.
100%. You did bring up Angstrom Levy. I do want to bring up a spoilery type question that happens in the finale. Can you tell any? Can you tell me anything about who I want to call Arachnid Man?
Oh, that is Agent Spider.
Agent Spider.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's why he's got an A on his chest. Um, yeah, we should have named him in the dialogue, but I think if you subtitle the show, it might have it on there. But yeah, I don't know. It's a cool character. He's completely original. No inspiration of any kind that I can think of. This thwip thing that we came up with is super cool. It's like a mode of transportation that I've honestly never seen anywhere before. He's got these I'm gonna call them webs that he travels with. I think that's why he's called Agent Spider. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with that scene.
You heard it here first. Webs invented.
Yeah.
Coined right here. Is there any other stories of yours that you've created that you would love to adapt, whether it be animation or live action?
I mean, it's a hard one to answer because there's, almost any number of comics I've done, I would love to adapt to animation. I think that the process of adapting Invincible to animation has been much more fulfilling and a lot like more streamlined than any of the live action adaptations I've done. And so, Oblivion Song, Firepower, pretty much anything I've done, I think I think it'd be a lot of fun to adapt into animation. Those two of probably the most recent examples of things that I think will probably adapt well into animation. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think Oblivion Song would adapt perfectly into animation.
It'd be pretty cool.
That would be really cool.
Be almost as cool as Symbiotic Titan.
Almost as cool. But awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and answering these questions. Very big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Incredible adaptation, and can't wait to see more.
All right, man. Good talking to you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Good talking to you. Thanks.